To understand the Titanic, you have to understand its era, the early 1900s, when size and luxury were everything. The White Star Line was locked in a fierce rivalry with Cunard, whose Lusitania and Mauretania were the fastest ships afloat. Instead of chasing speed, White Star Line chose a different path: build the biggest, most luxurious ships the world had ever seen. Their vision? A trio of floating palaces: Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic. These ships would be so grand, people would choose them for the experience, not just the journey. The Titanic was designed with cutting-edge safety features: 16 watertight compartments, electric doors, and the latest technology. While the company never officially called it unsinkable, the press and public ran wild with the idea. The Titanic became a symbol of human achievement, a floating city that captured imaginations before it even sailed. For the wealthy, it was the ultimate status symbol. For immigrants, a vessel of hope to a new life. The ship meant different things to different people, but to all, it represented the future. Big, bold, and seemingly unstoppable. But history has a way of humbling even the grandest ambitions. The Titanic's story is a classic lesson. Just when you think you've mastered fate, reality can strike back. It was more than a ship, it was a statement of an era's confidence. And its blind spots. The world watched as this marvel prepared to set sail, unaware of the tragedy that would make it legendary. The Titanic was a product of its time, ambitious, opulent, and, as it turned out, tragically flawed. Its legacy would be shaped not by its luxury, but by its fate. The world would never look at progress the same way again. The Titanic's story was just beginning, and it would change everything. Building the Titanic was a feat of industrial might. Harland and Wolff's Belfast shipyard constructed a special slipway just to handle its size. Thousands of workers, riveters, carpenters, electricians, labored day and night, piecing together over 3 million rivets. The work was dangerous, loud, and relentless, but the result was breathtaking. The Titanic boasted electric watertight doors, its own power station, elevators, and a Marconi wireless radio, state-of-the-art for its time. When finished in 1912, it was the largest moving object ever built, nearly 900 feet long, towering above the docks. Everything about it was designed to impress, from its massive rudder to its gleaming decks. The shipyard workers' grit and the designer's ambition created a marvel that embodied the era's spirit. From the grime of Belfast emerged a pristine giant, ready to make history. The Titanic was more than a ship. It was a testament to human ambition. And soon, it would face its ultimate test. April 10, 1912. Titanic's maiden voyage begins in Southampton. Crowds gathered as passengers from every walk of life boarded, the elite in first class, professionals in second, and hopeful immigrants in third. First class was pure luxury. Private suites, fine dining, and amenities rivaling the best hotels. Second class offered comfort and respectability, a step up for many. Third class, though basic, was clean and dignified, a far cry from the steerage of older ships. For all, Titanic was a floating city, alive with excitement and promise. The first days at sea were smooth, filled with lavish dinners, games, and music. Each class had its own world, but all shared the thrill of crossing the Atlantic on a ship like no other. The Titanic was more than transportation. It was an experience, a microcosm of society. Over 2,200 souls sailed toward their destinies, unaware of what lay ahead. For a brief moment, the dream was real. The world watched in awe. The night of April 14, 1912 was eerily calm. No moon, no waves, and icebergs lurking unseen. Titanic received multiple ice warnings, but not all reached the bridge in time. At 11:40 p.m., Lookout Frederick Fleet spotted an iceberg dead ahead. The crew tried to turn, but the ship was too massive and moving too fast. The iceberg scraped along the hull, breaching 5 watertight compartments, one too many for survival. Designer Thomas Andrews quickly realized the truth: Titanic would sink within hours. Most passengers barely noticed the collision. Only those below deck saw the immediate danger. As water poured in, the reality spread, slowly at first, then with growing panic. The unsinkable ship was doomed. The engines stopped, and an uneasy silence fell over the Atlantic. Titanic's fate was sealed in minutes. The legend was born in tragedy. As the ship's fate became clear, chaos erupted. Titanic had lifeboats for barely half on board, a fatal miscalculation. The evacuation was disorganized. Many lifeboats launched half-empty as confusion and disbelief reigned. First and second class passengers reached the boats more easily, while many in third class were trapped by locked gates and confusing corridors. The women and children first rule was inconsistently enforced, adding to the chaos. The band played on, trying to calm the crowd as the ship tilted and the decks grew steeper. The lights flickered, then died. The Titanic broke apart and vanished beneath the waves at 2:20 a.m. Hundreds were left in the freezing water, clinging to hope. The class divide persisted, even in disaster. The great ship was gone, but the struggle for survival had just begun. The world would soon learn the true cost. In the icy water, over 1,500 lives were lost within minutes. Only one lifeboat returned to search for survivors. Most perished from hypothermia. The RMS Carpathia raced through the night, arriving hours too late to save more. Survivors, numb and grieving, were pulled from the lifeboats at dawn. News of the disaster spread confusion. Early reports claimed all were safe. The truth shocked the world. The unsinkable Titanic was gone, and so were most of her passengers. Headlines turned from triumph to tragedy overnight. Public outrage demanded answers. How could this happen? Investigations in the US and UK revealed a chain of failures, ignored warnings, too few lifeboats, and misplaced faith in technology. The disaster forced the world to confront the limits of progress. Titanic's sinking was not just a maritime tragedy, it was a reckoning. The lessons would reshape safety at sea. The world would never be the same. The Titanic's sinking changed everything. New safety laws required enough lifeboats for all, mandatory drills, and 24/7 radio watch. The International Ice Patrol was created to monitor the North Atlantic. For decades, the wreck lay undiscovered until 1985 when Dr. Robert Ballard found it 2.5 miles down. Images of the ghostly ship reignited fascination worldwide. The Titanic's story was retold in books and films, most famously in James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster. The tragedy became a cultural touchstone, blending history, myth, and emotion. Why does it endure? Because it's a story of ambition, hubris, class, and loss, a cautionary tale for every generation. The Titanic was a symbol of its age, and its end marked the loss of innocence. It reminds us that no matter our progress, nature and fate remain unpredictable. The ship is gone, but its legend sails on. We remember because the Titanic story is, in the end, our own.